As in, get into a task not knowing how it's going to end up, not knowing if it's going to be productive, not knowing if it's going to amount to nothing, just trusting that it's going to be fun. If you're discovering this now, and if I had discovered me talking about this now, I think it would have been easier. I would have felt less alone. They were kind of flopping last night, and this morning they're ready to go. The same feeling that I have. Let's go. You might find some comfort in my story if you would like to be creative publicly. If you want to write online, whether that's LinkedIn or Instagram or anywhere that's public and not just in your own notebook. If you want to create videos for YouTube, for example, anything where you want to express your ideas creatively online. I was a very creative child when I was in primary school. Then I blogged throughout all of my secondary school, all of my college, and all throughout work. I did not do anything creative and was terrified. I developed a fear for creativity. And for the past 6 months, I feel like I have unblocked. As in, just now I feel like I've unblocked. And it has taken me 6 months since I realized that I was blocked to now, where I feel so good. What happened? Because I was a really creative child. In primary school, being creative and liking art was my identity. My teacher said so, my family said so, and I believed it because I loved art. It was easy, especially my final year of primary school, where I had a really amazing teacher. She's called Miss Foy, and she gave us creative projects throughout the whole year, and that was the year that I felt most fulfilled creatively in my whole life. I was 13 years old, and I still remember the joy of it. I went all in on all the creative projects. We were given a project to do a room for a house. I made a whole house. We were given a project to do a hat. I did a whole installation. We were given a project to do a little book project on a country. I chose Chile. I sewed a flag, put it on a pole and brought it into school. I painted a whole painting of the country on a long canvas and brought that in as part of my project for Chile. I loved being creative. It was easy. And one time I heard an adult say that they were afraid to be creative and that they admired how creative I was. And I thought, afraid to be creative? That's like saying I'm afraid of flowers. It didn't make any sense. How can you be afraid to be creative? Anyway, I thought, okay, whatever. And I definitely don't want to be like that when I'm older. Well, then I went to secondary school, and the only goal that I was seeing there was to get good grades. And to get good grades, I shouldn't mess around. There is no room for creativity and being in the flow and experimenting. I had to just learn my notes to get the grades. In fact, I learned my notes so well with memory techniques that you could tell me, Ilona, for this part in the notes, tell me the 10th line, and I could tell you the 10th line, and I could say it backwards. I could say my notes backwards. I knew them so well. And this is where I drilled into myself that by staying within the lines, I would be successful. And unfortunately, it was true. I stayed within the lines, and I ended up in the 98th percentile in the national exams. And I say unfortunately because there was a price to that, because I developed a huge fear of creativity. Creativity being messy, uncertain, free-flowing, unstructured, emotional, experimental. So associated everything that's creative and messy with the opposite of success. And of course, I got a nice fancy job, And finally, I was relieved that I didn't need to stress about grades anymore. I felt safe and comfortable. And I continued throughout all the years that I worked in corporate to completely neglect my creativity. Why would I be creative? I associated that with fear. Why would I want to be afraid? I stayed low and just played it safe. I didn't feel any stress, and I didn't feel any joy either. And then I started a startup and realized how blocked I was creatively. And I realized because I came to the conclusion that the smartest, being the most cost-effective and the most powerful way to grow our business would be to talk about it publicly and often with my face, my voice, my expressions, my whole identity. And that was terrifying. A thing that I would have considered creative before, if you had given me the task to publish videos online when I was 12, 13 years old, I would have crushed it. But wow, as soon as I put my foot on the pedal, all of my emotions, intestines, my whole body just froze. I rammed into this. It felt like a block of concrete. I was not going anywhere. I needed to do something else to be able to do this. And so I began my journey of unblocking as now an adult. So the first part was me unblocking logically. And for me, that was learning the structure of a good story. I want to tell people about what we're doing with our company, but not in a salesy way. Giving some kind of value, giving some kind of story, and mostly emotions. I want you to feel something. I want you to feel what we're feeling. I want you to feel when we're celebrating, when we get new users and we have people using our product. And I want you to see that at some point, startups are hard. But that's part of it. That's part of you being part of you feeling our journey. The second part was unblocking emotionally. That was the hardest part. And this I was able to do through morning pages. It took me from October to the end of December to finally navigate my way to finding morning pages and Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, as the thing that was going to help me the most to unblock creativity. It was the part of my journey where I felt most understood, as in I was Googling on Google how to get over yourself, and I wasn't finding anything. I was putting into ChatGPT how to get over yourself, because that's exactly what I felt like I was trying to do, just to get over my fear of being creative online. What was going on? And I didn't find it. I did not get good results for how to get over yourself. And then I came across The Artist's Way, and that is exactly the guidance on how to get over yourself. And the third part that has helped me to unblock was finding a community. I found my community of people who are trying to do the same thing as me. They're trying to publish their stories and videos online in a creative way, in a way that they enjoy and want to do it consistently. Not just do it once and get it over with, or do it sporadically whenever motivation or the feeling hits, but to do it constantly and feel like this is something that they enjoy to do constantly. And if you'd like to stick around and see the whole journey of all of the things I did in detail to unblock, and what I'm actually doing with that unblock, how we're actually growing our company with this new sense of creativity and courage, do subscribe. That's the first time I'm saying that.